it comes to vegetables, so I cannot answer that. There's certain things that are not taken out of there, and not like your normal everyday worker.
How many workers are with that single operation right there? There's like 20 or...
There's probably 20 guys in that crew, and and you can bet that these guys are on a piece rate. You notice they don't stand around very much.
They don't even stand up, they just keep on going.
What's the youngest age?
We started harvesting here on the 1st, and we'll run till about 3 months.
So you'll keep these same workers?
These same workers will be here. If some of them want to go somewhere else, we don't, they're fine. We send them back home if they want to go back home.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not forced to stay here at all.
Okay.
They can complain about the food, but we can't do a whole lot about that.
Would you say their housing is pretty decent?
Yes, the housing has to meet a federal standard set by Department of Labor, and so what you see is in Yuma, where some people have bought complexes, apartment complexes that were somewhat
Look at this
run down, and then had to refurbish them to meet the standards for the H2A. And so their housing is good. It's not like they're out behind a tin shed anywhere. And there's a misconception a little bit, I think, in they're hard workers. It's more of the way of life of the agriculture worker. They're not necessarily very, what I say, super underpaid. In comparison to other jobs, yes, but if they work hard, you know, there is jobs that they can make. Our tractor drivers make anywhere from $10 to $12 an hour, and every employee that works for me is insured, and we do not, our everyday workers, we're not in the housing business. So, you know, but most of them, well, I'd say half of them live in Mexico and half of them live in Yuma. But
Do they bring their families?
no, they don't bring families. There's probably some husband-wife teams, you know, but and then actually certain parts on there, a packer and a cutter, they won't let the women don't do certain jobs.
Yeah.
And so, like the guy that's loading, the loaders, that's the men do that. And but it's more of a way of life, is kind of the way you look at it, that we couldn't operate without. The Hispanic people are very hard workers, very good people, and I can't say enough about them. You know, they're just good, hard-working people like anyone else trying to make a living. And but you know, they have to work here and then they have to move after the jobs are over, and so it's like I say, it's more of a way of life. Oh yeah, they have, when the H2A workers, the lunches will come with them, or they bring them out later, you know. And then you see different vendor vehicles that are all over. They're just independent vendors that come out, and they got burritos and sodas and whatever you want on these vending trucks.
Excuse me? What is the youngest and the oldest usually that you've seen as your workers?
In this type of work, you'll still see guys out there working anywhere from 18 to 60 years old. And just in our operation, I have guys that are that are just around 20 years old and up to almost 70. But the guy that's 70, he's been with us for 50 some years. He's the boss, really. Or sometimes he thinks he is. If you would like, you can get out and we can walk over here and you can watch that. It's a little slippery. It's up to you, or up to you.
There's your celery.
Yep, it's all right.
Well, we can, if you wanted to get out here, we can all cut some celery here. I can cut everyone a head of celery, but I think at the end of the trip, I would say, rather than do that, I'm actually going to bring lettuce and romaine, broccoli, cauliflower, and celery will all be loaded on the bus when we get to AWC for you to take at the end of the tour.
Wow.
Thank you.
And so... have that, and so I mean, you can just. We can go on from here and go over and see the lettuce harvest if that's what you want to do. And that is muddy. Like I said, celery, and when in doubt, you water, so you're always watering.
I want to go see it.
About how long do you think it takes from?
I do not own the harvest equipment. I own
About how-
all the other equipment, but not harvest.
About how long do you think it takes from the time they pull it until it gets to market, say on the East Coast or something?
Not as long as you think. It's going directly to the cooler, vacuum cooled, and loaded on trucks probably tonight or tomorrow, and then whatever it takes to get there. And, you know, if you don't have bad weather, you can probably be there in 2 days. And so you're probably receiving some of this even on the East Coast in 3 days. And now celery's a little different. Like I said, tropical. You'll notice when you buy romaine, sometimes in the rib in the center, it can be blistered a little bit, and that is due to frost. And so romaine is very susceptible to that, and so is celery. Because sometimes when you buy celery, you'll see in that just in that little thin cell that runs in there, it'll freeze and then it turns brown. Doesn't, other than to look at, it don't mean nothing. I mean, it's still celery, and you either pull it off of there or whatever, but yeah, it's more of a aesthetic thing you look at, and not as pretty as the other.
How long for the seed to harvest for this?
This is all transplanted, so it goes into a, we started transplanting here in end of August, 1st of September. Celery's a kind of a longer crop to grow versus the leafy lettuce.
Excuse me.
Plants come out of Northern California. Yeah. Oh no, they can turn around and go back. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I know, but
So.
I know, but you can't focus anyway.
Pardon me?
A day late, as soon as he shuts the door, they have to keep moving.
They have to keep moving. That's why most produce trucks you see are running teams, you know, that.
Sir, we had heard one time how many semis come out of the coolers every day. And I recall it was in the thousands.
Oh yes, oh yes.
Could you give us a little bit of a better number?
Ooh, I don't know about that. At one time, just Dole was going to build a cooler where the Fresh X cooler is, that was just this side of the Gila River over there. And actually, they were going to build that cooler just north of the river. And estimated to go by my house was somewhere between 12 and 1,500 just for those two operations a day during the peak.
Excuse me. They're working at a fairly fast pace.
Oh no, they get with it. They get paid. This is a piece rate crew, and if one of them starts dogging it, you can bet the other guy's going to be on his butt to pick it up.
God. You said something about cotton ginny. Are you going to one of those?
We are going to, if we have time. That's why if we keep moving, if you would like, I can take you through a Pima ginning operation that's not far from here.
All right.
I would like that, huh?
The crop now here is to the to your whatever, to the north, and that's romaine. And you see it's planted in a 3-line configuration. Normally when you see a 3-line configuration, those are grown for hearts, for the romaine heart. So the rest of that plant, when you cut it, it all goes on the ground. All they want is a heart.
How much of that celery is below ground?
Pardon me?
How much of that celery grows below ground?
None of it below ground.
No?
No,
Okay.
you cut it right at the base of the ground, right at ground level.
Okay. Yeah, it didn't look very sloppy.
There used to be, when my dad was alive, we had quite a bit of citrus actually in this area because it's warm. We didn't get the frost issues, and it was all lemons. Lemons is kind of growing a lot of lemons. Used to be on the mesa, and so where this is what's left of the lemon business. I still have about 12 acres, and the lemon industry this year has been very, very profitable for the area. It's been one of probably the best lemon years we've had in probably 20 years.
Sprayed it. Yeah, it's bug. I sprayed it.
Pull on up to the shop, and then I'll be able to see if the other crew ever showed up. Sometimes the harvest crews tell us they are showing up, and we get the fields ready, but they don't show up.
How long do the lemon trees produce? How long do the lemon trees?
Oh, there's probably some orchards that are 30 plus years old. Yeah, those are not the original ones that my dad planted there. I tore out, and like I did most all the other ones too, and then I replanted those. That's in a little strip of the farm that's real sandy, but it's not good for growing regular crops, so we planted lemon. This is our headquarters here, and so